Hey, it is April the 30th, 2024. And y'all, I got a couple of things that I want to share with y'all tonight. I have things actually lined up. And we'll see how that goes. But I planned things that I wanted to share with y'all tonight. And I wanted to, first of all, thank y'all for coming out. And let y'all know I appreciate y'all, every one of y'all out there who you might not know if I do or don't. I'm letting you know that I do. So don't be shy out there. Get up in the comment section or whatever. Write me a little love note. You'd be surprised. Sometimes I find at times to write love notes back. I and actually I've gotten some pretty dang good comments that I wanted to share with y'all. I just recently got these comments maybe like within the past 24 hours. All these comments, I'm not sure if that's the case, but if not, very close to. And it's in regards to an idea that I had the idea, and I figured go ahead and execute it. All right, give it a shot. Give it a good shot while also keeping my options open financially. Financially speaking. Nah, but I had an idea, right? Or at the very least, um, kind of a side hustle, but with the potential of becoming something of a career slash reputation in the community. I um, I got some pretty good comments that I want to share with y'all about it, of encouragement regarding my idea, which some of y'all might already know, is to make things look nice. What do you want to live in? Trash and squalor? Like you're from out the ghetto? So how you're trying to live? Right? Making stuff look nice. And I want to share with y'all some of those comments, but also, I gotta let y'all know too. I don't know which one I want to do first, actually. I want to share with y'all a comment that I got from probably soon to be a superstar named Navy Kid, and I called it out a long time ago, actually. And we're gonna get into it, and I want to show y'all some of that. I want to give y'all a taste some of the new stuff from, like I said, a soon to be superstar named Navy Kid. We talked about him a long time ago, and he's popped back up. In fact, he left me a comment the other day. That's pretty dang cool. But actually, let's go ahead and we cover the first comments first. The ones where it's talking about my career idea, picking up all the trash. I live in a big neighborhood, and they call it a super neighborhood. Even I'm not even sure exactly what that means, but it's basically like a town, but it's not a town. It's just like a big planned out neighborhood filled up with other neighborhoods, all sort of little gated communities and stuff. Very nice. It's on the north side of San Antonio, and everybody knows about it. Right? And there's definitely other affluent parts of town and stuff, but everybody recognizes Stone Oak. And so, I've been living in Stone Oak here for a little while. I like happenstanced my way into Stone Oak. All right. And of course, I don't own a house in Stone Oak. I mean, these houses are nice. All right. I'm like in one of the lower level of the houses. These houses are real nice around here. And I rent a room. All right, it's not the best of situations, but it's a pretty good situation being that it's in Stone Oak. Shout out to whoever's up in the room. So that was the thing about it. I couldn't help but notice my lifestyle. I couldn't help but notice it. Stone Oak is a nice, fancy place, and I've always actually known it for that. I don't know how long I've known about Stone Oak. Maybe my whole life I've known about it. I really don't know when I've learned about Stone Oak, and I learned about it being a nice, kind of an upscale place comparative to where I grew up. I found myself in Stone Oak, and just taking advantage of the perks and the benefits that a place like Stone Oak has. I mean, for actually being in town and not being rural, which all of us would like to be, I'm sure. We would like to be more rural. But aside from that, it's actually pretty nice. There's nice little pedestrian everything. It's nice. It looks nice. It's all breezy. Over on the other channel, you may or may not know about it, but there is another channel called like Keep Stone Oak Clean here on YouTube, and you can check it out. You see all the nice little scenery. I'm starting to film that stuff. There's two people up in the room. I see. I'm talking about my idea. It's because it's just like an opportunity that just seems to present itself. And either I'm slipping or tripping, or I'm just recognizing what seems to be like a good opportunity. So this a big neighborhood, and you could check it out on Google and whatever. It's a big, big neighborhood called Stone Oak. Right? It's a neighborhood filled up with all these little small neighborhoods. It's fancy. A lot of doctors live here. A lot of Mexican internationals, for whatever reason, gather here. For some reason, it has a big community of Mormons. Big Mormon community, and they're balling out. Uh, Around Stone Oak, I'm liable to see a cyber truck every couple of days pass by. I I don't want to brag too hard, but it's nice. Meanwhile, we're like living in a modern world that we all know is going to shit, dude. It's all crumbling. Of course, the country's all crumbling and stuff. But I'm saying, in the meantime, we're living in Stone Oak right here. I don't even belong in Stone Oak, but I found my way in Stone Oak, and it's so nice. But however, as more and more and more people of sometimes lesser status sometimes creep into the community and involve themselves into this community, you can't help but notice there's trash. And so that's my idea. That's what it all revolves around, or most of it does. There's trash, dude. I can't help but notice it. And it's not like in San Antonio, it could get bad. See, it used to not be like this. We used to not be so trashy, dude. But as of late, there's certain places in San Antonio be very trashy. Stone Oak of San Antonio is not actually that trashy at all. In fact, it's probably one of dare I say, one of the best places. There's probably definitely areas that are much more cleaner, because here's the thing. Upon slightly closer inspection, you'll find trash everywhere in the grass, on the sidewalks, in the street. The city of San Antonio, like you may well already know, like I've probably discussed before. Oh, they might be involved in coming around cleaning it. How many times, dude? Like how many times? Because for the amount of trash that I see and I notice, you almost only come by like 2 times a year, if that. When you're mowing the grass, maybe you'll pick up the trash and stuff too. It's like I'm seeing okay. See, what I'm seeing is a a retardation, a dysfunctionality. It's like, dude, everybody over here is paying bills. People owning houses here in this area are paying mad property taxes and everything. Paying bills and paying bills and paying more bills. There's taxes on taxes on taxes, and they're paying all that sort of stuff, and they have to walk around. And just like me, especially if like their families walking around Stone Oak trying to enjoy themselves, just like me, they're gonna see trash in the grass tucked in there. Every few feet, they're gonna see trash. and it's like I don't know if everybody's lying, but I'll hear other people talking about certain other cities. Like shout out, I think it might have been Moscow was the last one. Tucker Carlson. A lot of times people go to the city and say, you wouldn't believe it, but there's no trash anywhere. There's no trash anywhere, and it's probably not hard to figure out why. Maybe they got some self-respect over there. Maybe they got some self-respect. And it's like I think we have some self-respect around here. And it's like, if I got to be the first one to volunteer to pick up this trash from some poor blessed person out there who, for whatever reason, they could not handle their own trash, and somehow or another, in that moment, their priority was to dislodge trash instead of keep this neighborhood classy, balling. It's terrible. But who's going to volunteer if it's not me? See, I see the opportunity. I see the space to fill in the community. In this day and age, something like that could very well be compensated. Could very well, man. People in this neighborhood might appreciate something like that if they saw that. In fact, I've gotten thank yous a lot already. So, anyways, it's an idea that I'm fitting to carry out. While also keeping options open for potential jobs just in case and stuff. I already got a job. I can maybe get another job and have this job and that job. It's the damn Biden economy. I can have 4 or 5 jobs. All right. God bless. But yeah, I did want to share with y'all the comments that I got. And sometimes they're very hard to find. All right. So it might take a second. But okay, the first comment is coming from the man-made trademark. I want to shout him out. He said, "This house is haunted," but Maitre Mark said, "Good for you on this video in which I was describing my idea to clean up the street." He then said, "We once had these TV ads that said, 'Keep Australia beautiful.' They were about putting your trash in trash cans. It seems so simple and it's childish almost to bring it up like this. But the wonderment, and the absolute game changer it is when everybody up and decides to use trash cans exclusively for trash." He says, "I do not have a TV anymore." He says, "I wonder," and this is Maitre Mark, he says, "I wonder if they still play them commercials. I don't know. I don't see those commercials for take a look, but I don't have a TV either." So I guess we're in the same predicament. All right. But I've been at people's houses who do have TVs, and I can't say that I have seen any commercials regarding keeping stuff clean. I don't think I have seen those. I've heard commercials about how your dick don't work. Yeah, I hear it all the time. Like half of every commercial is about, hey, if your dick don't work and what to do about it, what kind of like pharmaceutical, what kind of chewable or whatever that you might take if your dick don't work. I do hear about that, but not about like keeping everything clean and beautiful. Odd. I wonder if they still play them, Major Mike says, but Australia is fairly trash free, thank God, right? Thank God, because that's not gonna like solve all the problems. Obviously, Australia's got some problems, right? I don't have to tell you that America has some serious, serious problems, of course. But that's one thing. It's kind of like Jordan Peterson said, and I know Jordan Peterson is on a lot of people's hit list, if you will. No violence intended. That's not what I mean, but it's like keep your room clean type stuff. It's like personally, I find myself liking to focus on that. I'm like, hey, what if we focus on that? Keeping our rooms clean and our surroundings clean, and then offering even cleanliness in our proximity, just offering cleanliness, seeing if the world will accept it, seeing if the world will give me some money for that, for keeping it clean. All right, but Australia is fairly trash free. Tasmania, especially. He said, except when you go to areas with new Australians. He said they throw their trash on the ground and it looks terrible. He said it looks terrible. Now I gotta admit that I'm kind of racking my brain right now, and I'm trying to think to myself, um, who is that? Who are these new Australians? And I know I might be tripping, but honestly, I don't know who that is. I mean, I could venture a guess. It's like the new Australians. They could either be, say, Chinese, maybe all being invaded by Chinese people, or maybe like they're Middle Eastern, like refugee status people coming in throwing trash everywhere. It is a small possibility that Californians, white trashy people from out of California, and they grew up throwing trash around, dude. You might want to check to see if they're Californians, if they happen to be white, and they're probably throwing trash all around because that's how they grew up. That's how some people grew up. I don't know if it's solving the world's problems, but some people grew up all trashy, myself included, but some people didn't. So people have some damn respect. And before I go any further, there's plenty I could say about it, but it's honestly my theory. This is my theory. Is that have you ever heard of the broken windows theory on crime? Without Googling it right now, basically, if you heard of it, it seems to me that it's like a police theory that if a community has, say, abandoned buildings and with windows broken out, it looks all trashy and abandoned, so it's going to be more likely to be crime, even more crimes in that area. It's going to become like a magnet for crimes. Why? Basically, it's almost like you got a billboard out, just it's like for everybody to see. Hey, look, this is a trashy place. The window's broken and everything. Nobody even cares. Nobody's gonna fix it and stuff. It's trashy and nobody even cares. You can make all sort of crimes here. And to a certain extent, I would say that that kind of goes for trash too. And I could be slipping and tripping, but it's like, okay, if you ever go to a place and you notice that there is zero trash, and no matter where you go, you're looking around, you're all over the sidewalks and stuff, you notice that there's zero trash, you might feel uncomfortable, or you should feel uncomfortable throwing your little bit of trash on the ground, because someone might even look at you and say, brother, you see that there's no trash anywhere, right? And it might be a serious problem. You don't know, you put the trash in your pocket or something. It might have you really thinking about whether or not you want to just loiter and stuff or commit crimes. I think it's my theory on a lesser extent. Maybe you see a trashy area with all sort of uh, everything, dude. Candy wrappers, broken alcohol bottles, condoms and condom wrappers and stuff. I found that and much, much more over these past few days. And that's not, it's just like, that's not balling. It's nothing balling about that. It's disrespect. To me, it's disrespect. And stuff like that could lead to broken windows. And broken windows could lead to this slippery slope, I feel. Why, like, it makes everybody feel bad. Anyways, there was another comment I saw, and I'm searching for it right now. I think I see it right here, right now. Hard to find things on YouTube. It's where my Nazis. But here on YouTube, I also got some more encouragement. Gotta say, I appreciate it. I know I'll now be getting encouragement from El Nino. El Nino is my right hand man all the time, and he already knows. But gotten encouragement from others. Shout out to Scotty Too Hottie. He doesn't go on the internet, but he said it sounds like a pretty good idea, and so I'm getting good feedback on the internet too. I have yet for anybody to say, "Hey, it's a terrible idea. And you should never ever talk about doing this again." Nobody has said that yet, but I'm still open and waiting for some more feedback. Anyways, never forgets on the internet. And she said, Gerard, she said, great video. Thank you. I don't remember how great it was, but she said, great video. She said, I can't wait to see your idea flourish. Now she's getting ahead of everybody, getting ahead of, but that's the thing. You got to kind of like embrace the success that's coming our way sometimes. She says, I can't wait to see your idea flourish into however many avenues you choose to take. And I do want to stress that, like, especially in my latest video that you could check on the other YouTube channel, of course, not right now, but later on, you could check out the latest one. I sat down for like damn, an hour and a half or something and actually put in production value and in attempts to basically give people visuals of what I'm talking about. Oh no, it's a beautiful place. I'm over here picking up the trash, making sure that it's beautiful. It's like, people might want to see it, so I went ahead and I documented it, and you can see it on YouTube, and you'll be able to see it on Facebook and Instagram and all this. I was gonna exactly translate onto the recorded version. I don't know how the live stream is coming through to say the person who's viewing it. But what happens on my end is it goes black. Screen goes black. And it's like, oh, I stopped being working. And I'm looking at it and I'm like, what? And it's like, I'm not working. It's just looking back at me like, I'm not working. It's all just a black screen. And then it kind of comes back and it's like, oh man, I just cut off the internet or something. It's like, oh, you've been offline, buddy. You danced your way over the bounds of the internet. You found yourself outside of the internet for a little while, and it's like there's a person like for example, right now, so it's like one person's up in the building watching me. I don't know if that's true because I got jostled out. Maybe they got jostled out. Maybe it's not a person. Maybe it's a robot this whole time. It doesn't there's no way of knowing. It's like I just gotta press through. Allegedly, I'm on the internet, right? Allegedly. So while I'm allegedly on the internet, I might as well keep on going. I try to wait to see if it'll turn off again because sometimes it does that. For people who know, for people that know, it'll cut off and then it'll come back on, and then you start talking and then it'll cut off again. It's like that's a terrible thing when it happens, but it's very, very funny if you were watching it happen from the outside. But it looks like it's gonna stay on, so I might as well just. I want to get out the rest of this here comment. This is from Never Forgets here on YouTube, and we go way back, dude. It's insane how long we've been on YouTube. Oh man, it's kind of insane how long we've been on YouTube, and we just been straight chilling, right? Not even doing too much, but now we're like trying to make a difference, at least in the community. And if we're gonna make a difference in the community, might as well make a difference on YouTube as well, just by showing people. That's what I was talking about. Before everything blows up into smithereens, and you know what I'm talking about. I just want to show people, oh look, this is nice. Look, it's a nice place. This is where you come and you act nice and you act polite, and it's just everybody gets along. you would figure. So, never forget says, it's perfect timing now being, she says. It's two people in the building, but never forget says that it's perfect timing. She means my idea. Um, Now being that God's revving it up big time. I don't know if some of y'all get that out there. Never forget was talking about God is revving it up. You could say the heat is starting to percolate. Stuff is starting to get real insane. And I would agree, it's starting to get real, real insane. Um, it's a wild, wild ride. I'm wishing everybody the best, and like I have for a long, long time, especially no physical violence or any sort of violence towards anybody. Um, but yeah, God's wrapping it up big, big time. And it's whether or not anybody likes it, a change is coming. So there's like the idea, like the ponderance of, perhaps if a change is coming, perhaps we could change it in the way that we would like instead of total rampant slavery. So God is revving it up big time. He's revving it up. He's turning up the temp. And so she says, like you said, everybody will know you or know of you in your community. And I did say something like that. Perhaps not everybody would know me in the community, but a lot of people shall know me in the community. And not because, oh, I want to be braggadocious or I want to be like this famous Brad Pitt of the community, but I want people to see me. I want the average person to see me off in the distance and say, that guy either recognize me because you already know, or either that or just recognize that that guy right there, he'll help me out. He'll be very helpful. If indeed I need help, or, he keeps stuff regulated around here to an extent, at least, in certain ways. He kind of runs shit around here, that guy. I want people to think like that, you know? That's, I just want them to think like that. But anyways, um, never forget says everybody will kind of know you in the community, so you'll be able to barter and trade your way all the way to the end. And I like how she worded that. It's like, the end's coming for you, Gerard, but you'll be able to barter in the meantime. When they take all of cash away from you, at least you'll be able to barter. But playing with me on the internet, cutting out my internet feed. Why? So I'm touching on the deep stuff. That's why. Diving deep down the rabbit hole. Too deep. So they cut me off and listen to me, just like Edward Snowden said they were listening to me. Um, yeah, but in a general sense, never forget it's exactly right. And that goes for all of us. Perhaps maybe not to the extent of bartering, but basically and probably bartering in situations in which our wealth is extracted from us in a very calculated and mathematical, strategic sense, as is going to be the case, has already been the case, but is going to again be the case very hard on our asses here in the very near future. So it's like, okay, what she's getting at, what I'm getting at, what Alex Jones is getting at is that we had to definitely divest in certain things and realize that certain resources are valuable today and are going to be valuable tomorrow, and they're going to be valuable just so long as human beings are alive. These things, certain things, are going to be valuable. They're going to hold value. That does not describe in any way, shape, or form the dollar bill papers in my wallet or the little numbers on on the screens that represent supposedly our dollars. All right, those don't necessarily have to retain value. Everything else that works and is good will retain value and in fact become more valuable in comparison to the dollar, which is whack and it's about to be eliminated. All right. I don't know. I'm sure they're going to come at all the boomers and try to get them on a CBDC to get their retirement and all that Social Security. Get that social. They got the CBDC Social Security. You better memorize that. It sounds like a rap song for boomers. The CBDC Social Security. Yeah, that sounds real good. But anyway, she says, we'll see, but it looks like you are on it. It sounds like the actual people in your neighborhood could offer all kind of things to you when our world here finally bursts. I shouldn't be rambling on, but it looks like a plan is coming together. All right. And that was a very long rambling comment. It surely was. It looks like it's coming together. And it's a plan. I would agree. The thing is, I'm assuming, and you shouldn't assume, but I'm figuring that she's alluding to God's plan, as Drake has talked about in some of his hit songs. God's plan, of course. God's plan is coming to fruition. And, very hard, if not impossible, to be able to really understand God's plan until it all plays out. Until it all plays out. But it does sound like a good idea for anybody and everybody to find out ways and ways. Okay, like for example, and it's more so for me. This is why I'm doing it. But it's like instead of I was thinking to myself, I was like, instead of going and getting a job to get money, I gotta find some job. I gotta find a thing that someone will want me to do, and they'll give me money. Why not just make myself as useful as possible? And I don't know if I'm just thinking all whimsical or if this is just like some idea and it'll never work or whatever. But what if we just taught people to go around and be as useful as possible and find out different other ways that you could be more and more useful? And it's like, shouldn't you be able to uh, pay all your bills if you're very useful and people just know about how useful you are? Shouldn't that make you all the money that you need? And I think that it would. I think that it would, but I've actually never ever thought like that before in my head. I've never really thought like that until very recently. I just thought about that. It's like, what if you just go around? What if you were to just walk around and look to see like a situation in which you're useful, go make yourself useful, fix the situation, somebody notices it, you move on to the next situation, make yourself useful, keep making yourself useful, and it builds up and it builds up, and you get more and more skills, you can imagine, during that progression and make yourself more and more useful. Shouldn't it give you money? I mean, I don't know if people like sometimes people look at me and say, "Oh yeah, what do you think you just? What do you think? Like we haven't all thought about this." It's like I've never thought about this. I've never had these ideas before. Anyways, we're gonna press on. Tomorrow, for example, I'm going to touch up on the website. For example, there's Facebooks, there's an Instagram, there's a YouTube channel. So I don't know all these things. I got a website. Man, I went ahead and I bought a website, right? Like I bought a domain, you know, and I thought, okay, I bought that domain, and now I got a website, and I'm gonna make one. And you know what? For the people who've done it, or maybe I'm just being played, but it's funny. I bought the domain, which was keepstonoclean.com. That's mine. And you can go to it right now, but like I said, it's not fully functional, so don't be pressing these buttons and stuff. But keepstoneoakclean.com, that's mine. And I didn't even realize, but you could buy the domain, and then after you buy the domain, then after that you buy the website. Believe it or not, unless you're like some sort of like programmer or something. If you're not some sort of programmer, then you got to pay them for the actual AI. And the tools actually work really well, to be honest with you. And it's like it's pretty much worth what you're paying for it, to be honest with you. It's actually a worthy product because they're using AI. If you've ever tried to even like attempt to make a website, or if you've never ever made a website, it really doesn't matter. This AI and the tablets that they have, you'll be able to easily make a website easily. It's kind of like following the funnel method. If y'all know it, if you're into sales and stuff like that, it's a funnel website, which just takes you right into what you need for people to give you some money. All right, so there is all that. All the things, the cash app, setting up all these tedious things, and it's actually going to take days and days for me, at least, because here's what I got to do: set up all these things and ways to get paid and avenues to get paid, and setting up ways for people to actually see on a day-to-day basis different progress, and to actually on an everyday basis really get a feel for how their community is getting more and more and more cleaner, and who to blame for that and who to throw the money at. uh, Putting all that together, and then after, and while getting all that together, then I gotta go in super monk mode, you guys. And I had to go in super monk mode, start busting out notepads and all sort of things. Why is it? Because I'll have to get every single thing that I sign into, which is probably at this point over a dozen things, probably like 20 things that I sign into. I sign into, yes, for some of y'all out there, your life's all on the internet now. And you're talking about there's credit cards, there's debit cards, there's pay cards, there's this and that. It's like, and this is all on the internet. There's online cards, there's medical information, there's cell phone information, there's all sort of banking and credit information. It is there, and you can access it all digitally, which is actually wonderful. In one sense, it's wonderful because you don't have to run around to a million places to take care of all this stuff, but also at the same time, there's like a million ways for you to get hacked, and then all sort of craziness happen to you. Like, for example, earlier today, I logged into my I can't even remember. Either it was Cash App or it was PayPal. I logged into it and I saw that there was a transaction that they indeed canceled. They noticed how they canceled it because it was fraudulent. Somebody was trying to charge me $999.99 for some odd thing, and this thing that I don't use, that it doesn't have no money in it. And they saw that and they were like, "Wow, there's no money here for that. This must be fraudulent. This $999 with 99 cent thing, this thing must be fraudulent." And they canceled it. And thank God they did. But how do these people pull that off? I have no idea. I mean, it's like, you guys, like, to be honest, until, and it's cumbersome, but until this whole grid crumbles down, it's actually necessary to be on top of these things, to know about these things. It's terribly tedious, and it's kind of like the mark of the beast, and people don't feel comfortable about it. Hey, I'm right there with you. I don't feel comfortable about it. But we had to get with it, and we had to protect ourselves, and there's ways to actively do that. But you had to be pretty smart about it and really think about it instead of slipping and tripping, and that's how most people get hacked. And all their stuff gets all messed up. And it's like the crime of the day right now. It's been the crime of the day for a long, long time. That's the biggest crime, is taking all your money digitally. But anyways, gosh, man, I wanted to talk about here. The thing is, we're about 40 minutes in to this broadcast, so I do want to mention the comment that I received from Navy Kid. It was from a video a long time ago that I had made and I put on this channel. Let's see, it's from about a year ago. It says, and it seems like it must have been before the whole heart surgery thing. It must have been before that. But anyways, I talked about Navy Kid, which was just somebody who I came across, and he got a YouTube channel. Talked about it a long time ago. We're gonna talk about it some more, but we don't have time to talk about it right now. Unfortunately, we took too long with everything else. But and especially I want to make a video dedicated to it. To be honest with you, because Navy Kid, he came to my video that I made like a year ago, and he put a comment, and he under the video, and it says, mind you, this video has how many views? It's probably not a lot. I can't even see. It's got like 6 thumbs up. It's got 27 views all time. But Navy Kid comes through and he says, love this, bro, appreciate this, and he's got fire emojis. So it's like, man, I appreciate that he come, and sometimes that happens. Sometimes people come to like 2-year-old videos and shout you out. Sometimes like people who you really enjoy their stuff, they'll shout you out. I've talked to a lot of people, man, believe it or not. I've gotten replies on comments back from straight legends, a lot of them. In fact, I got to write a list out of the straight legends who've replied back to me in comments. But Navy Kid said he appreciates it, and I appreciate him. The thing is, I noticed that he recently had put up some, I think just 5 days ago, put up a video on his channel. And I mean, if you piece things together, he likely went on YouTube, typed in his name to see if anybody was talking about him, saw me talking about him, and checked out the video and said that he liked it, right? But I wanted to check it out. I did notice that 6 days ago now, Navy Kid put out on his YouTube channel. You could check it out if you wanted to. It's NAVYKIDD. In fact, let's see. I think it's like backwards if I show you right. Is that backwards? I don't know if you can read backwards, but he put out a video. See, we commented on videos that he had made over about a year ago. We commented on them about a year ago. And then he had put out a video, a little 1-minute video, 8 months ago on his YouTube. All right, that's all we really know about him. He put out a 1-minute video, but I never wound up seeing that. I forgot all about him, to be honest. But then 6 days ago, he posted this new video, and you can check it out right now, called 1920 Live Performance Official Video plus 2 bonus tracks. And I'm honestly really, really excited to check it out. I haven't checked it out yet. It's like we're too far into the broadcast. Unless somebody begs me to play this, we're going to have to do this later. But I can't wait to check it out. It's a 12-minute and 25-second long video. And it's probably like a director's cut and all sort of super nice things to see behind the scenes or something like that. I can't wait to see it and make a video about that probably later. But shout out to Navy Kid who subscribed to my channel. I don't know if he's gonna like my stuff. I can't imagine that he will, but it's a chance he might like my stuff. All right, I don't think that he will, but all right. So one thing that okay, it's kind of messed up because we're 44 minutes in, and I'm sorry about it, but I mess it up every time. I wonder if people know me like for that. We're 44 minutes in, and I haven't talked about why I said the Fiesta of Death, if I can say that on YouTube. I think I called it the Fiesta of Death, right? I don't mean to laugh, but I believe I called it the Fiesta of Death. The stream of it, of course, it's the WW3 stream. If you didn't know, well, now you do know. Unless you want to debate me on it, go ahead and try to debate me. So WW3 stream, but I did mention the Fiesta of Death, and people probably don't know what I'm talking about. Well, yeah, you definitely don't. You definitely don't know what I'm talking about. But I want to tell you a story real quick, and perhaps show y'all a video. That's what I intended to do. All right, real quick video. But I want to tell you a story of a young man, and this is all allegedly. This is reportedly. This is from what I've gathered from these so-called publications talking all about it. Is there's a thing, it's called Fiesta in San Antonio. And Fiesta in Spanish, everybody knows, just means party. So technically, you can have parties whenever the hell you want to, all year round in San Antonio. Nobody's going to stop you. But there's a thing, and it's like they call it Fiesta, like that's official Fiesta. Oh, that's what we all call Fiesta. And it takes place over the span of like two-ish weeks. And in certain parts of San Antonio, all throughout town actually, certain parts of San Antonio, they'll have what's known as official Fiesta events. And to not be too long-winded about it, I just want to say it's like, yeah, I don't go to Fiesta. These events, these cultural events, they're very big tourist attraction-y type events. It's supposed to be about the history and the tradition of San Antonio, right? Fiesta, and it takes place like in early spring. So they're whack. The thing is, it costs so much money. I don't want to go spend all my money. It's like, dude, everything costs money. Just like, I'm sure you have your own thing wherever you're at. Yeah, we got that thing too. It's called Fiesta, where everything that you can't turn around without spending $20 on something. It's ridiculous. And Chichibina said, "You forgetting Nyosa in high school, the beads." I kind of sort of remember the beads and stuff. Like I vaguely remember that sort of stuff. I don't know if I'm forgetting it. But I'm vaguely remembering it. But anyways, a lot of money. I don't go. I haven't gone for many years to like any of these Fiesta events. Every year I ask people, the locals who I know, anybody who I see, I ask them, "Hey man, you going to Fiesta or whatever?" And it's like, no, they ain't going to Fiesta. I always get a no from everybody, and sometimes they'll mention it, but like you don't even have to mention it. All that money, and then what you're gonna do? Just like my mom said a long time ago, many decades ago, my mom would tell me like, "What for? Why to stumble around all sort of drunks, bumping into you, and they can't wait to fight for no good reason?" That's what my mom would say a long time ago. What for? And then I kind of get what she's saying, but on top of that, extremely expensive. I don't go to Fiesta. So, and here's something I brought to Andrew Trevino's attention already, but it's something I wanted to share with y'all too as well. All right, it's something that happened at one of the events. I forget what the event is called, and it really doesn't matter, but we can find out about it a little bit. One of the last events of the Fiesta, I believe it was on Saturday night into Sunday morning, going into that time frame, there was a shooting. And see, I don't still know all the details. I was trying to check on it before the broadcast, and I wasn't able to find out really all the details. It would seem as though, according to reports, that people don't know all the details. It would seem as though they're having to do an investigation, and it's going to actually take some time. And I think that's important to know too, as well, because hey, dude, it does seem like something chaotic, and it does seem like it would need a thorough investigation, and it does seem like it would definitely need time to be investigated until we find out exactly what happened. But there was a shooting. In fact, reportedly, it was a shootout between two fellas. This is all reportedly, allegedly, until further notice. Reportedly, two fellas got into a shootout with each other right quick. There into the early morning of Fiesta. And so we don't know too much about that. We know that shots were firing out. We know people were busting out their cell phone cameras just like they always would, you would imagine. So there's plenty of that footage that's around. I've heard about the footage of the dead bodies. I haven't seen those footages. I haven't looked for them either. All right. But I haven't seen them. So I've heard about them, the videos in which you see maybe somebody dead on the ground and stuff. I've heard about this, but I haven't seen it. So there was a shootout. We don't know too much, but it was called a shootout, which would imply that two people have guns and they're shooting at each other. At least two people doing that. So according to the reports that I've seen, it did seem like it was between two people and only two people, it seems. One of the peoples who's involved in this gun shootout was a man by an interesting name of Mikey Valdez. Now, mind you, there's probably 5,000 Michael Valdezes that live in San Antonio alone. And there's likely a dozen Mikey Valdezes, but however, Mikey Valdez is definitely going to be much more rare than Michael Valdez, right? Am I right or am I right? Am I right? I'm pretty sure I'm right about that. That Mikey Valdez is kind of a rare name. It kind of catches your eye, and you kind of make a note of it. Mikey Valdez, like who calls people in the news by the name of Mikey unless you're legitimately Mikey, unless everybody calls you Mikey, unless on your government papers it says Mikey Valdez. All right, and it might say that. I don't know about what it says on his birth certificate, but unfortunately, this man he got into a shootout. Right, he was an 18-year-old man reportedly, and his name is Mikey Valdez. Got in a shootout reportedly with a man named Albert Cisneros, and I thought I saw him being called Albert Cisneros Jr., but I'm not sure. So Albert Cisneros, who is a 20-year-old man, right? And so, but we don't know too much. Like everything is fuzzy beyond that, but we do know. Like for example, that the police ran up on it real quick. There was a pretty decent police presence right there at the time. And for example, imagine your way into next year, into the future. Do you think that's going to be like a military presence at the Fiesta? Yeah, I think so. But anyways, there happened to be a heavy enough police presence at the time, so they ran up on him and they shot. See, I don't know all who the police shot, to be honest. The police shot Mikey. That's what they said. They shot Mikey because Mikey. Okay, reportedly, Mikey had shot Albert. And from what I'm reading in this article, which we're not going to go through real quick, you can go through the articles if you wanted to real quick, but I'm telling you, I haven't seen the evidence. I haven't seen like any of the information come out yet. The investigation is still ongoing. But according to this here report, it says that Albert was probably, according to police, shot up by Mikey Valdez. There's preliminary report saying that we're going to find out if that is true or not. But police said that Mikey Valdez done blasted on Albert Cisneros. All right. And maybe Albert Cisneros had blasted on Mikey too. They said it was a shootout. We just don't know. They seem pretty positive that the police, uh, put Mikey down. They seem pretty positive of that. But beyond that, we just don't know. We got to do more investigating. It's going to take time. So, what I wanted to point out, and I wonder if the audio will work, and we're going to find out right now on a whim if the audio is going to work. Power on. I have something set up, a speaker, if you will, to see if you can get the audio right quick on it, because it's going to be necessary. Unfortunately, the audio. I'm going to take a little look and take a little listen of this lady. This lady. All right. The reason that we're going to. Bluetooth connected. Let's see if this works. But the reason we want to listen to this lady right quick is because I was over on Reddit. And man, I accidentally get on Reddit. Whenever I get on Reddit, it's always by accident, but sometimes I actually learn some stuff that's pretty damn interesting. All right. So I was on Reddit and I was hearing about this Fiesta violence. It was 2 people dead and 4 had been injured. I think like a couple people got shot. And 4 people had been injured. They were all ladies, from what I heard, except for the 2 guys who were in fact guys, and they were dead. All right, one of them being Mikey Valdez. Now we know nothing. We still to this day know nothing. We don't know any of the details. But through Reddit, I easily was fed the information like a little baby bird on Reddit. They said, "Hey, this guy Mikey Valdez." The guy who just died over that Fiesta gun battle, the Fiesta gun battle of 2024 that our children and grandchildren and children were talking about, Mikey Valdez. They're like, does that sound familiar to any of y'all? And sure enough, as somebody always does on Reddit, somebody dug way back to like 2-3 weeks ago, in which Mikey Valdez was in the news. And mind you, the name Mikey Valdez is going to stand out. And so that clicked for somebody out there. There's always going to be an autist sitting around somewhere over there, and it's just going to click. He's going to hear Mikey Valdez. I remember Mikey Valdez. And sure enough, here's the thing. Mikey Valdez, according to reports, and this is all over Google, this is all, everybody knows all of this. Mikey Valdez had recently been caught by the police and took to jail for burglarizing cars. All right. And I remember actually hearing about this report too, because it kind of like had me steamed. Of course, crime's going up everywhere in America. That's a given. But it had me personally agitated because this guy was going all throughout the rim in La Cantera and burglarizing cars and stuff. And I'm like thinking to myself, these are nice places where people are nice people and walk around and they be polite and nice and they look nice and they have nice things and stuff. You're going to come around to this place, what I like so much, when I walk around with my dirty self and I'm looking at all these nice people and they're letting me look at them and all their nice things, and I'm being respectful of all their nice things. And you're going to come around and you're going to be a serial carjacker and jacking everything outside people's cars and stuff, making people feel insecure and unsafe in parts of town in which they should feel secure and they should feel safe, but they don't because of hoodlums like this, Mikey Valdez, unfortunately. All right, this is just according to reports. All right, I want to give you a little visual. And there'll probably be some more pictures. That's our man, Mikey Valdez. All right. Take a good look. Yeah. It's Mikey Valdez. And we're about to get up out of here pretty soon, but thank you guys for coming out. But before we get up out of here, we got to take a listen to Mikey Valdez's Mama. All right. Because think about it. I don't know the exact dates, but early in April, this guy gets picked up for this serial burglaring of cars and stuff, they found a legal weapon on him. Because people who's burglarizing these cars, they're gonna have a weapon on them, and usually it's a weapon they stole. That's illegal, right? So that's what they found on him. Obviously, they found that sort of stuff, found stolen property. He was serial burglarizing cars all throughout the Rim and La Cantera, and they caught him. The police took him to jail. He bonds out the next day, $35,000 bond. I don't know how. The news doesn't really tell me how. Bonds out the very next day. This hoodlum. I don't know if you saw, but our man had an Edgar haircut. All right, it's just like dreadlocks in Chicago. People run around with an Edgar haircut don't mean this good to anybody. All right, they're in it for themselves. Edgar haircuts, they're in it for themselves. I promise you. All right, and there's many different ways to do it, but Mikey Valdez, he bonds out the very next day. It's kind of interesting, like, because, fast forward a couple of weeks and he goes to Fiesta. He has a problem with this guy, Albert. They wind up shooting at each other, and then Mikey winds up dead. So is Albert. We don't know who killed Albert, but we know the police kind of killed Mikey. Um, it's okay. So obviously, I don't know if it's obvious, but I wanted to point out that, of course, there's no justice, right? I don't know. I don't know who I would have to explain this to. I don't know who in the world I would have to explain this to, that there's no justice at all, except for perhaps God's justice. I'll leave that. I'm not here to interpret what's God's justice, but I'm saying there ain't no justice in our justice system at all. This guy is a serial alleged car burglar. Y'all are calling him that in the news. Y'all must have so much evidence that he's a serial car burglar. And he's got stolen firearms on him and everything, running around with an Edgar haircut. The police are nice enough to snatch his ass up, throw him into jail, and then sure enough, wouldn't you know it, he's out on bond the next day, $35,000 bond. All right, Andrew Trevino says street justice. A lot of people out there praying for street justice. And I'm not saying Andrew Trevino is, I'm saying a lot of people are. And it's like, I don't know what that is. I know that God definitely wants us to carry out justice, and we're, for the most part, doing the exact opposite. We're doing the exact opposite of what God would have happen. And then somehow people come up dead then, lots of the times, in a very public fashion. I mean, you can see videos of the dead body on YouTube probably somewhere. All right, but okay, that's the thing. He bonds out, and then like a couple of weeks later, now he's at Fiesta at a shootout. Um, I don't know. I saw reports, and we'll see how it all comes out, right? But I saw reports in which, after the shootout, they went ahead and checked out Mikey Valdez's where he lives at, I guess, with his mom. Went and checked out his living area and found stolen property, as you would imagine, and found firearms that were illegal, as you would imagine. And it's like, wow, this is so wild, and it blows my mind. You find this guy red-handed and stuff. In our justice system, the police risk their life to get this guy who's carrying stolen weapons on him all the time. And they risk their life to snatch him up, take him to jail. He bonds out the next day, $35,000 bond. And meanwhile, in a world where there was justice, you would arrest this guy, put him in jail because you just found him burglarizing everything. You'd find all what's stolen that he's got on him, and then you'd get a warrant out and search his residence and his mama's residence to see if you find stolen stuff, to include firearms. Wouldn't you do that? And if you did that, and if you did find that stuff, then maybe no bonds. Maybe don't bail them out. Maybe you can't bail them out because of all this stolen evidence that we found in your residence. And I'm hearing a report say, "Oh yeah, they found it post mortem." It's like, wow, this is like, I mean, I'm having trouble speaking because it's so tough. It's such the opposite of justice that it's wild. I mean, it just leaves me speechless. But he does wind up getting killed. Albert gets killed as well. And meanwhile, before any of the evidence comes out, and then we'll get up out of here, but I do want to check this out. Before any of the evidence comes out, and you could predict this, like you could predict the sun coming up. Before any of the evidence comes out, Mikey Valdez's mother, his single mother, and you already know, his very, very single mother is on the news. Do I have to tell you she's crying? Yeah, of course she's crying. Does it sound fake? Yes, it sounds fake, but I'm not saying it's fake. But yes, it's very typical. And yes, it does sound forced. And I don't know, but let's check it out before any of the evidence comes out. Let's check out Mikey Valdez's single mother mom on the news. I hope that we don't get, like, it's like
You
copyright.
can skip this ad, but don't skip the part that can help
I
you get
can't
the job
skip
done.
the
At
ad.
Grainger, we're here for you with supplies and solutions for every industry. Call, click, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Turn it up a little bit.
When Google Fiber first launched 1 gig, it
Dude,
cost
$70.
okay. But
Check it out about Google Fiber.
I just told you it's $70.
find out if your address is eligible today at fiber.google.com.
Whatever, buddy. This is the kind of slavery that I'm talking about.
Our top story at 10, a terrifying moment at Fiesta. People running to safety after police say a gun battle between two young men turned into a shooting involving police.
Yeah, it happened before midnight at the historic Market Square.
2 people died in the gunfire, including a teenager. 4 women were hurt.
All new tonight, we're hearing from the mother of one of the suspects. Now, she claims that police targeted the wrong man.
Kids 5 reporter Megan Reina joins us now with the latest.
Yeah, Megan, what can you tell us?
Well, police say this all started when an 18-year-old shot at a 20-year-old. Tonight, that teen's mother is identifying him as Mikey Valdez. She says she spoke to a homicide detective who said they have body camera video showing that he may have not initiated the shooting. Tonight, we are reaching out to police to confirm those claims.
Caught on camera the moment police say 2 young men got into a gunfight.
There are multiple shots, I want to say it was about 8 to 10 shots. Everybody's running, ducking, diving.
Herman Suarez is a vendor. He said what he witnessed was terrifying. He says he helped a woman who was shot in the leg.
We pulled her behind the wall, tried to render aid to her.
Police say 2 women nearby were shot. 2 other women were hurt. They're all expected to be okay.
Now you got, 2 families that, got to plan babies now.
Gabrielle Rodriguez is part of one of those 2 families. She says 18-year-old Mikey Valdez is her son. Police say he shot at a 20-year-old man, then ran from police. Police then shot him several times.
Then I ended up seeing a video of my son laying on the floor, gasping for air. The officers didn't test him. They didn't check his pulse. They didn't do any of that. They just put handcuffs on him and let him die.
She says police told her one of the officers' body cameras was off. The other video, she says, captured conflicting information from what the police chief said Saturday night.
Detective from homicide stated that the footage had showed that my son possibly wasn't in the wrong.
Police Chief William McManus says 2 guns were found at the scene, but Rodriguez wants to see the body camera video herself.
He was supposed to come home.
Fiesta de los Reyes will be closing an hour early tonight at 11 instead of midnight because of this shooting. Now, we're still waiting to hear back from police regarding those claims, but police do typically release body camera videos within 30 days when there's an officer-involved shooting. Reporting live from the newsroom, Megan Reyna, KINS 5.
Hey, man, shout out to San Antonio, local news. We got to get up out of here.
Power off.
But shout out to San Antonio, local news, a city in which there is no possible way to keep very fat people off of television. You know how, like, back in the day, you would put skinny people on television. It's not even possible here in San Antonio. But so they were covering that, and that's all messed up. Right? There's like some sort of little voice whispering, and you can't hear it, but I hear it in my head. All right, I think I turned it off right now. I'm sorry about that, but it's very distracting. There's like a little voice in my head. All right. Anyways, yeah, let's get up out of here. But this lady, she was over there and she's crying, and God bless her. I wish her the best. Right? It's a terrible thing that happened to her, and I'm not saying nothing. But we're gonna find out how much money she's going to attempt to get from out of SAPD, which, as we all know, is just taxpayer money. How many thousands upon thousands upon thousands, tens of thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands of dollars she's going to receive from SAPD after her son Mikey got shot up, unfortunately. And he should have been in prison. Had there been any justice, he would have already been in prison, and he would have been maybe alive and doing quite fine in prison. But he is dead now. See how much money she'll get now. And I did check out the like the GoFundMe, for example, and it is about 2,000. That's not really going to get too far, but we'll see how far it can go. All right, it's terrible. It's a jungle out there. It's wild, and I'll holler at y'all about, a little bit more a little bit later. Andrew Trevino says possibly sue for multiple millions. See, that's the thing about it. She's going to try to go for it, but how much she's going to get? It's a pretty ridiculous situation. And I can't say, but as time comes out, wouldn't it be typical if Mikey did in fact kill Albert Cisneros, and he's the only one that shot him, and then he's running off from the police because, of course, he just shot a man, and so the police can't really trust you while you're doing that, and he gets shot up, and so I thought, in 2024. This lady might get millions. And the thing is, if she does get millions, it's going to be in like, they're not going to talk about it too much. They're going to just quietly give her a couple of $1,000,000. And just because she hit the lottery. And so it's an incentive for ladies to do exactly this and get all tatted up and be single mothers and cry on the news when the inevitable happens. Your son had an Edgar haircut, and everybody saw this coming, right? But it is kind of late, so we gotta get up out of here. And I'll holler at y'all later tomorrow. I gotta get some of that work done, some of that, some of that digital work done too. I'll holler at y'all about it a little bit later.